what I realize after I go through processes of theological reflection after a critical moment or incident like COVID, for example, I realize that what theological reflection actually does is it's mostly a reminder. It reminds me of the things the church has always done, but it provides with me a new why behind it. A why that is contextual, a why that is for me and my community, and a why that makes sense in this space and this time right now. Because what happens throughout time is that why gets left behind with the previous generation. And then the new generation receives the tradition without a why. And then we dismantle it because it's like the fence that we don't know why it's there. And no one wants to ask why. They just want to get rid of it because it's a little bit cumbersome, right? So all the things that I mentioned to you about what I've been thinking about around Sunday morning as a result of COVID, none of that is new. Absolutely none.
No.
It's just provided because of the contrast we have with technology. It has a new why for me.
Yeah.
And because of that, I can actually live more, I guess, convictionally in that space of gathered community because I now realize why this is optimal compared to anything else.
So, I mean, theological reflection is not something new. You're quite right. I don't think it's something new, although, as a discipline, it emerges and is languished probably from the 90s.
Well, not the discipline itself; it's the things that the discipline uncovers.
Yeah.
Are not.
No, that's right. And the idea of sort of reflection. Again, it's interesting. Here's a line. All theology is worship.
Yeah.
How does that relate? Well, doing this, what you're doing, is deeply integrated. I mean, and that's what you're after. Actually, is not just sort of a theological idea or embedded theology here, and me living or I'm living here. It's actually integrating that world. How do I fit those experiential pieces that really kind of rupture something? How do I actually integrate that into a kind of lived faith? I think that's what theological reflection does.
Yeah, and we're talking about the macro a little bit, if you will, about what involves more than just you. But what theological reflection should involve just you. So, for example, many people in the millennial generation had what people call deconstruction.
Yeah,
deconstructed their faith. That's a moment of crisis that requires theological reflection, and then an instantiation of this new why behind why you do what you do, because you've received the tradition of your parents. You're trying to realize it for yourself. It doesn't make sense compared to competing worldviews. You look into it deeply. You pray. You ask God for guidance. You have conversations with people, and then you have a new why.